14 games down in Rochester minors, where he had a 12-game hit streak, and I don't know if he closed that out with a hit today or not. I didn't get a chance to check that out. But he is being called back up now to the main roster immediately. So welcome back, Byron Buxton. And hopefully when Hicks is healthy, they call him back up, and we have the outfield of Rosario, Buxton, and Hicks, and that is our three-man super stud young outfield for the future. This whole nonsense that we can't have Hicks and Buxton up at the same time is ridiculous. Put all three of them, put Rosario, Hicks, and Buxton out there. I don't care who plays what position, but those are your three outfielders. Paul Molitor, Minnesota Twins. So tomorrow you will definitely want to watch the Twins game, as it will be the first time, I believe, I'm pretty darn sure it will be the first time ever the Twins prospects Byron Buxton and third baseman Sano will be playing suited up for the Minnesota Twins at the same time. So you will definitely, like I said, if you are a Minnesota Twins fan, want to keep an eye out for that. We are a 3-game road series with the New York Yankees ended today. Did not get a chance to see how that turned out, but I'm guessing the Yankees won. They own us as a franchise, and we just have not been playing very good ball since the All-Star break. Tomorrow, the Twins start a 4-game road series against the Baltimore Orioles, and the Baltimore Orioles are right in that hunt for one of the 2 wild card spots. So if Buxton coming up, teaming up with Sano, maybe could spark the team a little bit, and we could win at least 2 out of these 4, if not 3 out of 4, against Baltimore here, we might be able to hang around for a little while. But that's what it's going to take. The Twins are very close to being on the edge of not competing for a wild card spot anymore this season. And even if that does happen, that should be okay, as they have been overachieving all year. And with Perkins being, either injured or just ineffective, we have no closer. Jepson, now the guy we traded for at the deadline, he's become our closer. And our starting pitching staff never had a chance. You got so much money wasted on Nolasco, who can't even start a game for you, healthy or not healthy. You got way too much money in Erwin Santana, who's worthless, which I told everyone he was going to be. Most of the people here in Minnesota were like, oh, Erwin Santana, as soon as we get him back, yeah, he's out for 80 games, but we got Erwin Santana. That's our guy, and that's, and there's just so much hype about Erwin Santana before the season started, and before he, his 80-game suspension was over. And the whole time I'm sitting here looking at people going, he's no different than Nolasco. He's never done anything. Why are you so excited? He's not Johan Santana, and this isn't 2005 or whatever, But again, I implore patience on the part of the Minnesota Twins fan base. We are still overachieving. We are farther along than anybody hoped or expected us to be, and all we need to do is stay the course and continue the path we're on, and in a year or 2, we're going to be able to legitimately sit there and look at each other and have the conversation of, is this our year? Could this be our year? We're not there yet. We weren't there. We weren't ever going to be there at any point in time in this season. Okay? So, just want to remind everybody of that. Now, let's go over the playoff picture real quick in baseball, and then try to squeeze in some PGA golf before we talk some wrestling. All right. Out in the American League East, you've got the Yankees back in first with a 1.5-game lead over the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays are currently holding the first of the 2 wild card spots. Then you've got the Royals, of course, 14 games in front of the Minnesota Twins, who are in second place in their division. And then you've got the Astros hanging on to a 2.5 game lead out in the AL West. So then that second wild card is being battled primarily for by the Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Angels and the Texas Rangers, who maybe those couple trades they made at the trade deadline will pay off and get them into a wild card spot. But it's definitely looking like the top wild card spot is definitely going to go to either the Yankees or the Blue Jays. Whoever doesn't win that division, not second place for the AL West. And it's also looking like second place for the AL West could be the Angels, Astros, or Rangers. With the Orioles having a slight chance at getting that second wild card spot, and your teams like the Rays, the Twins, the Tigers, all mathematically in it, but realistically, for the most part, they're out of the wild card picture as well. Now, in the National League, you've got the Cardinals, of course, sitting on top. You've got the freaking Pirates, who are somehow 5 games out of first. The Pittsburgh Pirates here. Listen to this, okay? The Pittsburgh Pirates are 70-47, and they are 5 games behind first place in their division. 70 wins. You know how many teams in the American League have 70 wins? 1. The Royals. You know how many teams in baseball have 70 wins? 3. The Cardinals, Royals, and Pirates. So you've got the Pirates in the number 1 wild card spot as they've been pretty much all year, but still flirting with a potential division crown yet if the Cardinals would at any point in time start to hit a bit of a schneid. I know everybody loves when I say that word here on the show. And then the Cubs in third place, hanging on to the second wild card spot at 17 games above 500, 67-50. Cubs having a great year. So the Cubs 67-50 are in third place in their division, the second wild card. At 67-53, the Dodgers are in first place in the NL West. And then first place in the NL East is 64-55. So you've got third place in the Central better than first place in the West and the East. So almost a lock here, it seems. The Pirates and Cubs be the wild cards. I really hope that happens. Second place in the NL West will be your only other wild card contender, as the Giants are within a game and a half of the Dodgers. They have 65 wins, the Giants do. And again, the Cubs have 67 wins in that second spot. But definitely 2 of those 3 teams are your wild card teams, the Pirates, Cubs, and Giants. Unless the Giants surpass the Dodgers, then Dodgers would be in the wild card mix. Now, NL East, it's going to be the division winner and then nobody. And that was looking to be most likely the Washington Nationals all year. However, they have been, I want to say, wins and loss-wise, they've been the worst team in baseball since the All-Star break. They are 59-59, exactly 500. And they are 4.5 games out of first place behind the New York Mets at 64-55. So there is your Major League Baseball standings and playoff race picture. All right, now let's move to golf, and then we will bring in our wrestling guru. All right, so as I mentioned earlier in the show, my man, my boy, the guy I've been picking to win pretty much every major since the beginning of this 2015 PGA golf season, Mr. Jason Day, broke through and won his first professional major. Congratulations to Mr. Jason Day. Now, the reason this guy was my guy all year and I stuck by it is because I watch golf, but I don't watch all golf. I don't watch every swing, every player hits every tournament. Far, far, far from it. But I can look at all the numbers and the statistics on the season, and when there's a name that pops up in the top 10 of literally every category, scoring, driving distance, driving accuracy, greens in regulation, sand saves, putting, There's one name on every single one of those lists. Jason Day. And it's been that way the entire season. So how can anybody not notice that and think this guy's, not recognize this guy's playing out of his mind, from week to week. And it's just simply, the stars just aren't quite aligning at these majors. Well, this last week, the stars aligned for Jason Day, and they aligned in historic fashion. As I mentioned earlier in the show, his final score for the tournament was 20 under par. Now, the lowest recorded score to par in the history of major tournaments was 19 under par, recorded by Tiger Woods back in 2003, 2002, 2001, 2000, somewhere in there. I don't know. I know it's somewhere in there. So not only did he get over that final hump, which for whatever reason for golfers seems to be more of a hump than anything else in sports, maybe arguably. You get these great golfers and they're only all-time great after they win that first major. You can have a guy that's just phenomenal player talent-wise, but he doesn't win a major, nobody cares. He's forgotten about. He's deemed as semi-irrelevant. So I couldn't be happier for Jason Day, because this guy, I've been saying all year, and last year even a little bit, but I've been saying all year, this guy is just too good. This guy's too good. And last week on the show, I said that I hope either Dustin Johnson or Jason Day win, because those two guys are by far the two best golfers in the world that haven't won a major, and they're two of the 5 best golfers in the world right now, period. So it makes them better. It's better for everything and everyone involved that these young studs, at least one or two of them, like we've seen Rory do over the last 2 years, not this year, but over the last 2 years we've seen Rory do it. This year we watched Jordan Spieth do it, and this year we also got to see Jason Day do it. That might be enough. If Rory can pull his head out of his butt and actually decide that he wants to be the greatest, he wants to be a full-time golfer for, that's what he wants to do for his living, and that he wants to be the greatest at it, then we could see, you've got Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, and let's not forget Bubba Watson, who, if you look at the statistics this year, is quietly one of the 5 best golfers in the world on tour this year. He's having one of the 5 best seasons of any professional golfer this year, but because he hasn't contended in the majors, you think he's having a bad year. Far from it. So, that is 4 amazing newer, younger guys, and then you've still got your Dustin Johnson sitting right there, and plenty of other guys with immense Ricky Fowler, with immense talent, some draw, some personality, some charisma. And the more of these guys that can win a major and establish themselves as, I'm all time, I'm historic, I'm memorable, I think we could maybe finally move past Tiger Woods. Now, speaking of Tiger Woods, I've been saying it for months upon months, years upon years, maybe even, but I've only had the show for 27 weeks now, so I've at least been saying it for 27 weeks, that we need to put Tiger in our rearview mirror and just move on from him permanently. And my example, I have a perfect example of this. Not only was Tiger Woods irrelevant at all the majors this year, okay? If Tiger Woods does not finish, I want to say in the top 60 or something like that, at this weekend's coming no-name tournament on the PGA Tour, he will not